What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my MLB Week 22 power rankings. It's the last month of the season, so you got some teams making a big push here trying to get into the playoffs, while some teams are sliding and possibly might fall out. Now, 30 through 26, nobody's changing here. The White Sox, probably one of the worst teams ever, 31 and 107 currently. Then you got the Rockies and Marlins. Those two teams would probably flip-flop just because the record-wise. Same with the A's and the Angels. The Angels and the A's did get some series wins along with the Marlins. But those Rockies and White Sox kind of just poverty franchises right now. 25 through 21. Now, here is a team that could make a run. The Blue Jays, they started to figure it out against the Red Sox, got a good win there. Then unfortunately lost a few games late to the Twins. And, a few of those wins, let's say they sweep the Twins 69 and 70, they're right there in the race too. Tampa, they're still hanging around, but it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. They got 4 games against Minnesota this week at home. Got to at least go 3-1 to probably claw your way back in this going forward. While the Nationals, Pirates, and Reds are officially eliminated here. The Reds, they had some things to look forward to earlier in the year, but unfortunately they just couldn't get it done. And the Pirates, just need some more hitting. But next year, those Pirates, I think, are going to be a pretty solid team. 20 through 16. I don't know. I think you could maybe say the Rangers are out of it, but this week is going to be a big week. You get 3 against the Yankees and probably should take 3 or 4 against the Angels. DeGrom should be coming back soon. Scherzer, who knows? That's just older veteran guys. They got injured and the rotation just hasn't been there this year. Giants dropped 2 spots after 2 and 4 against some teams they should have, or at least against the Marlins, they should have beat. You get Arizona and San Diego, the 2 or 3 teams ahead of you in the NL West. So it's a big week for those Giants. Red Sox are a big faller as well, losing both series this week to some teams under them, and that's not good if they want to hunt for that wild card. And unfortunately, they're about to get passed here by my Tigers or maybe even the Mariners. The Cardinals hanging by a thread, 1 game above 500. Had a pretty solid week, honestly. You split against the Padres and beat the Yankees in New York. Now, can they keep that little momentum going into a big, big week for the wild card standings this week, especially in the NL Central against Milwaukee and Seattle? And Seattle, obviously, at 16 here. They fall because they lost to the Angels in a road series there, but they should come out of this week with a winning record against Oakland. Should take 3 or 4 there. Then you beat St. Louis, you're 4-3 this week. Can't complain there. But the Mariners, they really need to figure it out here. Once they fire their manager, I think they have kind of started to turn a page here, but the pitching can only get them so far. 15 through 11. You got my Tigers here on the list, making a big jump from 19 to 15. That's because they had a nice week last week. Obviously beat the White Sox on Monday and then took 2 series at home against the Angels and the Red Sox, which needed that series against the Red Sox. They get 3 in San Diego starting tonight on Monday. Honestly, with the rotation, how it is right now, and Montero and Skubal, or sorry, Mize and Skubal not pitching till this weekend. I think it's gonna be an interesting series here for the Tigers, and if they can scrape out 2 and somehow get a series win, I think that's gonna be surprising. Cubs, another surprising week for them. 6-0 last week, and they're moving up here. And that's just because they're 5 games above 500 and just put themselves right in that wild card race. Twins, not the best week for them, getting swept by the Braves at home, but then respond with a series win over the Blue Jays. But they're hanging on to that last AL wild card spot by a thread as those Tigers, Mariners are right there. Braves, same thing. They are the NL wild card last spot holder, beating those Mets out by 1 game right now. And they do have some home series this week, the Braves and the Mets. Braves, haven't showed up against the big teams, so that means this week they should probably do really well. Where the Mets, on the other hand, those 3 against Boston is a big series for both of those teams. Now, 10 through 6, these are the teams that are comfortably into the playoffs, I guess you could say. Maybe the Royals not. But the Padres, like I said, they got the Tigers at home, then the Giants. Padres should probably go 3-3 or better this week. Guardians. Now, the Guardians have a tough schedule, and on the road in Kansas City, where Kansas City, if they sweep the Guardians, they're only a half game back when they go into their weekend series. And the way that the Guardians played last week at home against the Royals, it's definitely possible that Kansas City could sweep the Guardians here. Then the Guardians get 3 on the road against the Dodgers, and it could be a rough week for the Guardians here. They could possibly not escape with 80 coming out of this week with 80 wins. And if that's the case, this AL wild card might get a little crazier. But the Royals, that series in Houston, I'll talk about Houston next. They needed to at least take one of those games just to kind of move out of that last spot of the wild card, but they just can't seem to do it. And then the Astros, a rough start to the week in Philly, but then they respond with a huge series win at home against the Royals, sweeping them 4-0. Now this week it does get a little easier for the Astros going on the road to Cincy and then home at Arizona, which Arizona's on fire right now, so that should be a good weekend series. And then you got the Yankees, a bad week for the Yankees, 2-4 against some mediocre teams. And now you get to go on the road, 3 against Texas, who, they're going to try to play spoiler. And then the Cubs. Cubs are on fire right now. They're playing some really good baseball, and that could be a very tough series. And, if the Yankees don't fix their problems shortly here, the Orioles could possibly walk away with this division. At 5, you got those Diamondbacks, a bad week for them as well. Mets and Dodgers didn't go their way. Get the Dodgers today on Monday. Maybe they can scrape that one out to salvage the series. But 6 games on the road against the Giants in Houston. Always tough playing on the road, especially nowadays, September. You never love playing those road series because if they're already mathematically out of it or kind of know they're out of it, they got nothing to lose. So that is kind of their playoff push, is to knock you out. I think this team could possibly end up with a 6-0 record this week. 3 games at home in Baltimore and Camden Yards at this weekend series is going to be buzzing. It's a big series for both of those teams. And the Orioles are looking to start to turn the page here. They got Eflin back after a very short stint. And I think he had a perfect game going into 6th or no hitter, something like that. So the Orioles pitching staff is getting healthy and getting better. The Brewers moving up into the top 3 after a very strong week for them, going 5-2. And, they should have took care of business, and they did, where some teams didn't last week. And that's why the Brewers are moving up 80-57. And I didn't think the Brewers would be this good this year, especially after Craig Counsell goes to the Cubs. But hey, give it to the Brewers. They are playing some really good baseball throughout this whole year. Pitching staff, even after dealing Corbin Burns, has been great. And 6 games at home this week against some weaker opponents. I wouldn't be shocked if they at least go 5-1 heading into next week. And then the Phillies and the Dodgers round out spot 2 and 1. And it's pretty crazy here. You got the Dodgers holding a 1-game lead for the best record, and then a 2-game lead over the 2 and 3 teams here. The Phillies had some good weeks last week, shows that they can play against those better teams when they're hot. Now they get rewarded with 2 road series, but against some road series against some teams that, shouldn't be too tough for them. And the Dodgers, same thing. They got through a good week last week. They beat 4 and 5 teams here. 1 at home, 1 on the road. Still get Arizona today. Like I said, maybe they can get to 3-1 against Arizona here. But Arizona, Dodgers, that's going to be a good division to watch out for this last September. But the Dodgers, I just think it's just right there in front of them. The rotation, Yamamoto possibly could be getting healthy very quickly, possibly get him back for the playoffs. I think the Dodgers might be hitting their stride here in September. And those 3 games against Cleveland, that could be, I think, a series if the Dodgers sweep the Guardians, that I think the Dodgers really start to make their push for the playoffs. That's going to be it for my Week 22 Power Rankings. Check back next week to see how your team did and where they fall with only 3 weeks left in the season. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.